And it does make it a little bit tricky, but like those moments really make up for it.
Cool. Yeah, wow. Should be really proud of it, though.
I am, for sure. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Opening the floor for people to interact and ask questions and learn and educate themselves.
There's still also a lot of other stuff that we would still like to do. This podcast is one of them, so I'm really happy to actually do this. Yes. And companies that are more diverse and more inclusive are shown to be at least more productive. People are more happy, more engaged. Retention is higher.
So, Tim, today we have again a really nice topic in the category D, E, and Y.
Definitely.
Today we have two guests, Ernst and Daniel from the queer community at Bol. So I'm looking forward to this talk, and maybe you guys can introduce yourselves. Maybe Ernst, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can begin, of course. I'm Ernst, 40 years old, worked at Bol for almost 8 years now. Used to be a data scientist, now I'm an engineering manager. And I basically have been involved with Queer Bol, which is the name for our community, since its beginning. So that was 2021, I think. So 4 years already.
Wow.
So quite a while.
Yeah. Pioneer.
A pioneer. Well, I guess. Yeah. In a way.
Anyways.
Yeah, welcome. Happy to have you.
Thanks. Good for being here.
My name is Daniel. I'm 42, originally from Colombia, and I've been here in the Netherlands and at Bol for 4.5 years. Currently, I'm working at core marketing and advertising, and together with Ernst, we joined for the Queer on 2021. And that's me.
Also a core member.
Core member, yeah, correct.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, I don't know if this is the right time, but we actually wanted someone else to be here.
Definitely, yeah.
So we didn't expect us two to be on this couch.
Mm-hmm.
We actually put someone else to join, but they decided not to because this topic is actually quite sensitive.
Yeah.
And they were afraid because they're not from Netherlands, they're from a country where being queer is not necessarily accepted.
Yeah.
So they were a bit afraid for their own safety if they ever return to their home country. So they decided to not join the podcast, and I thought it would be at least good to mention that because we love to have them here on this couch instead.
Fully agree. Yeah.
So it's at least a way of honor them because they actually were the ones that want to really have to this podcast. So it's really it hurts a little bit that they cannot be here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we understand the reasons, and it's sad, but it's understandable.
Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, safety first, right? And
yes.
That's also there's also an angle of this topic, right? It's there's some different aspects. Safety is also one of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, still a lot of really valuable insights from them. I think it's super nice to be able to, to also have them included in the pre-talks, and we can have it on top of mind for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. I also think this awareness is important, right? Because not everybody realizes that being part of the queer community also can have these effects or risks even involved. Yeah,
definitely. And I think we have a pretty good time here in the Netherlands. We have it pretty good.
Yeah.
And also at Bol, I think Bol is a great company. It has a great vibe, but it's not necessarily everywhere the case.
Yeah.
And that's also the reason why we kind of exist to like at least represent this community, make sure people know who we are.
Yeah.
And to also kind of flag these kind of things. So
it's a way of being visible and make sure that other people feel safe in the environment. So I carry my lanyard. It's safe for you to approach me and talk to me and look. This is a safe environment. At the same time, I know that there is a risk of people just looking at me the wrong way, or let's say the wrong way, or in an aggressive way.
Yeah.
But I do it more about what I can bring to others.
Yeah. And I really want to give a huge compliment to both of you. Like, I really love it how especially within Bol as well, but you see so much, I always see you wearing the cord, and every time I see you wearing the cord, I'm like, I love it that you're putting it really into everyone's face, and it makes a lot of sense because it's beautiful. Yeah. So thanks a lot for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a nice bridge. Like, can you tell something about Queer Bol? Like, yeah.
I can give it a start. So Queer Bol has been around for 4 years, and it basically started as a very small kind of initiative. I think it was because we're also like a very multicultural company. Like we have a lot of different nationalities at Bol. And at some point in like one of our team meetings, something came up about diversity. And basically there was a question in the chat saying, hey, I am queer. I have people in my team who are from different cultures, have different norms, different values. I'm not sure if I can still express that. And that triggered me back then. I was like, oh, this might actually require a bit more conversation. So I kind of just posted on Workplace back then, like, hey, do other people experience this as well? And that kind of got the ball rolling. So people just kind of latched onto that and said, okay, this is something that we want to talk about. And 4 years later, we're still here. And that kind of kicked off like what we want to do. So we kind of got a group of people together. It's like, what do we want to achieve? Well, it's really about making sure that, we can make sure to have a good community so that people feel welcome here and feel safe. But also that actually we try to enrich Bol in a certain way. And that can be by just making it a better employer. I think that's a usually valuable thing. But also, for instance, we are a shop. And also there are certain things that we can do. So we try to like cover multiple bases and kind of invest in that and see, okay, how can we help the community internally, but also ultimately the community outside of Bol to the best of our ability to make sure that people feel welcome, not just at the company, but also in the shop.
That's interesting.
When I
Shop
joined the
everyone.
Netherlands, when I joined Bol, one of the things first things I was looking for was a queer community, and I couldn't find it. And I was baffled that a company that was built in the Netherlands, Netherlands being so open to the community, didn't have a community.
Indeed.
So I was surprised, and then that's when it hit me that there was this sense of privilege here in the Netherlands that we're all fine, we don't need this because it's all good here. And I was coming from countries where that was very much needed because the visibility and the fight for the rights was there. So also with Ernst, we got that ball rolling because it was like, hey, we need to bring those issues to people that think that they're not there. And then they need that visibility. Let's keep the roll bowling for this.
Yeah.
So how did you get started? So you first posted a question, some people reacted.
Yeah.
How did it evolve into what you guys are doing now?
It's been a long road. I've been doing this for 4 years. Initially, it was just like I posted something, and then back then we didn't really have a D&I department yet. But there was someone, I think an external person, who was sort of like seeing how this could happen, and they kind of like asked me like, hey, what can we do? How can we do it? Setting up a roundtable discussion, getting people involved in the rest of the community, just trying to see who's interested. And of course, 2021 was also still sort of COVID period. There was a lot of things online, so a lot of discussions online, trying to organize things online. And that was like moderately successful. Like we got a few people who were interested in helping out and doing things. But at some point you also kind of want to make a little bit more of an impact. And so like, I think last year, so 2024, with the help of our social impact department, we really got sort of like to a sort of strategic plan. Like how do we actually want to tackle this problem? How are we going to do this? Also a little bit of resources to actually organize things and making sure that we can do things. And that's
professional.
A bit more professional, yeah. So instead of just trying to do the things to the best of our ability with nothing, it was actually really nice that we got some resources to actually organize things, like making sure that we have outings for the community or invite speakers to talk about certain topics that are really relevant for the community. And I think from that point onward, I think we're now a group of 7 core team members. So people who really like every week come together and talk about this and see, okay, what can we do, and try to make a plan for the year, and trying to see, okay, we want to do this, we want to do stuff on this topic, on this topic, on this topic. Let's see how we can organize it. And this is where we are now, and we still have a long way to go. So we do a lot of cool stuff. But there's still also a lot of other stuff that we would still like to do. This podcast is one of them, so I'm really happy to actually do this. Yes. We can check that off our to-do list.
It is in the goals for 2025. So.
We included it explicitly because like we want to make sure that we have this podcast. Because one of the things also is like, how do we reach people?
Yes.
How do we make sure that people know that we're around? We've been around for 4 years, but still, it's a company of 3,000 people.
Yeah. So who do you want to reach? So who can be part of the community? Who is part of the community?
Everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone.
Everyone who wants to be.
Yeah.
So, and that's also one of the things that is a bit difficult.
Yeah.
As soon as you say Queer Bol, it's kind of like, okay, LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah.
And that's
Those are the people. And then a lot of people are like, oh, but I'm not part of that, so I should not be involved, or I would be out of place. And we're kind of like, no, just please join. We also are there for people who either want to support or just interested or curious. There's a lot of,
I think it has been hard to send that message across, because we really want to reach everyone. We have people approaching us that are saying, my daughter, she is coming out and I want to support her. What can you tell us about it? So it's not only about the community, but the allies and the people that probably don't know. I also had a person, according to that person, straight, telling me, I have no idea about anything. Tell me how things go in the community and things like that. So it's for everyone. Same with events. We want everyone to participate on the events because it's also about networking, about getting to know other people, and opening the floor for people to interact and ask questions and learn and educate themselves.
I think that's super nice. Also, like I've also been happy to join a couple of the events, and it's so nice to just it's really encouraged to just always keep learning on this topic, and I think that's super important next to the awareness of the topic, of course. So,
I think one of the things also is there that for many people it's just not top of mind, which makes sense. If you are not queer, or you're not have family members or friends who are queer, then it just might not be something you've thought about. And that's perfectly fine. But it is something that does affect quite a lot of people, and research also shows more and more people start identifying as non-straight or non-cisgendered. So it's becoming a bigger topic, and that also means that we as a company, but also we as a society, kind of need to adapt a little bit. And that's also why we try to have these sort of educational masterclasses, workshops, so people can learn and understand what all this is, because many people have not come into contact with it before.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would be interested. You say you're organizing events and masterclasses even. Can you tell us a little bit more about the impact you've made in the last 4 years? Maybe a little bit more about the things you've done and what the result was?
Yeah. So I think one of the first big things that we did was in 2022, where we had a full-on Pride Month internally. And we did some really cool stuff back then. So we had one thing that we got so much positive feedback on was this poster that we put into the elevators and into the toilets. Is based on this genderbread principle. So it's basically the original is sort of like a gingerbread man, but then there's certain parts highlighted, and that those highlighted parts explain, for instance, the difference between biological sex, gender expression, sexuality. Because many people don't know the difference between those words, and they are different things. So we just put that on a poster with Billy, our former mascot, the old version, and just made our own version of that. And we had so many good responses, I was just in the bathroom, I saw this poster, and I read it, and I was like, I didn't know this. And these responses are really great, because it's the educational bit that we're looking for, the awareness. So that was awesome.
The wall.
We have this letter wall, actually explained the LGBTQIA plus, what does it mean? Again, sort of very educational. We have these pins that we're wearing, also as a means to kind of show everyone who works here. We try to get every year new ones to make sure that new employees also get them. But just to kind of show, okay, people are welcome here. Doesn't matter which sexuality you are, which gender you identify as. It's fine. So these kind of things we're trying to actively pursue to make sure that people feel welcome, feel accepted. One really cool thing from last year, or actually this year even, we have been in contact with some journey specialists about basically products for transgender people in the shop. We have them, of course, because we have a lot of partners, and those products are also offered in the shop. But before they were kind of just scattered throughout the shop because they didn't have like a distinct category. There was no journey for them, so they were everywhere. Like also under like maybe categories that you don't necessarily want them to be. And we actually worked together with the journey specialist to make sure that there is a dedicated category for them, and there is now like a dedicated journey for them. And I think that's a really cool example of actually not just having impact internally, like for people and like educating and stuff like that, but also towards the larger community and actually making Bol more accessible for transgender people in this case, but also for the wider community.
Yeah, wow.
And I think another impact that has been there is the conversation. Conversations have been started. So another campaign that we had with the conversation starts, like the stickers that we put on the tables where people could see, okay, how do I approach a colleague that can be not straight, how to approach it and ask them questions. So it has been a lot of conversations that has been started here at Bol with the community, and as long as there is the conversation, there's going to be a lot of education. Again, I insist about the education part. And the only way to combat ignorance is asking the questions.
Yeah.
And I have to admit also, it's sometimes a little bit tricky to understand what our impact is. Because we do all these things and people do stop by and have a chat, and some people are really interested and reach out to us. But like in the larger scale, like, are we impacting Bol? We don't know. But we do get like people that actually come up to us and say like, hey, having you here, having this letter roll, having these pins actually allow me to have a conversation with my team. And then I've doubted myself quite a few times over the last 4 years. Like, am I doing something which is actually useful? Like, it's hard to see that impact. And then at moments like those, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is actually having an impact on people. It is actually making Bol a better place. It's just something that is not always that measurable or that noticeable. And it does make it a little bit tricky, but like those moments really make up for it.
Cool. Yeah, wow. Should be really proud of it though.
I am for sure. Yes.
Wow.
So do you guys also connect to the queer communities outside of Bol, from other companies maybe, or?
Yeah, we try to. So we have been working together with Alte Haze Pride. So our mother company Alte Haze also has a similar kind of community. So we collaborate with them regularly, and also we are in several of those like larger networks. So
ERG networks from other
ERG.
companies.
Yeah. Okay. And we kind of just connect with them like every month or so, and there's where we share knowledge of basic best practices, like how do people do certain things, because there are also quite a few challenges in being a community and trying to achieve your goals, and because we're all volunteers and in the end, so all of us are doing this like next to the day job. Some people joke that you have the day job and the gay job.
Nice.
But the day job is like it takes up a lot of time as well. So and how do you manage that? Like how do you make sure you're effective in this other thing as well? And how do you make sure you reach the right people? How do you make sure that you do the right things? So we have a lot of we spar with other companies to make sure that we get this knowledge as well.
We approach them, ask them questions. They approach us. I've been baffled also by other companies that don't have the community. The ERGs are like, do whatever you can do and ask questions. How do you approach this? How do you communicate with other people inside the company? The conversation is there outside outside Bol as well. So Bol, we have been representing Bol, and Bol is visible in these topics.
Yeah.
But other companies are also working on that, and sharing the knowledge is always valuable.
Yeah. And do you see a lot of gaps like within the bigger companies in the Netherlands?
I have.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, there were a couple of people that were surprised that so many companies already had something strong, and they were like, we have nothing.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So that surprised me as well.
So what would you advise people in those companies?
Again, it has to start a conversation with inside the company with colleagues, with the higher ups, with their leaders, to get the support and to explain why there is the need of having these kind of communities.
So could you, maybe I put you on the spot, but could you give us the elevator pitch say we are your leaders, there's no queer community.
Yeah.
How would you, in a few sentences, say, we need this and this is why?
Well, yeah, you put us on the spot.
I can give it a go. So first of all, I think diversity and inclusion is something that's super important, and there's quite a lot of studies that have shown that diversity and inclusion in your team, actually, like different perspectives, makes your team better. It actually gets to better results if you have a diverse team than if you don't. And I think especially now, like, new generations are like entering the how you call it?
Workforce?
Labor workforce,
market,
yeah, thank
yeah.
you.
The markets.
The market are typically much more progressive, like, and they're much more open, and they have like these topics that they are really they feel strongly about, and this is typically also one of them. So also as an employer, it's really important for you to be diverse and be inclusive, and because it becomes like an actual thing that people look for. I know if I would ever apply somewhere else, it would be really important for me to be in a company that sponsors this, that actually has it on their agenda. And I think more and more people will have that as well, and not just queer, but any kind of diversity or inclusion. So I think like those two already, like it makes your company a better place, and companies that are more diverse and more inclusive and really also express this and facilitate it are shown to be, well, at least more productive. People are more happy, more engaged, retention is higher. There's a lot of stuff out there, like studies that actually show that this is a good thing to do.
Solved.
There we go. Awesome.
You got it.
It's a reminder that the people that work at the company are actual people.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
Not
We're
just
not
assets.
robots. No.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Well, I know Musk is working on a master plan.
No.
Don't get me started.
So we talked a lot about the queer community and how you approach things and why it's important. But why is it important for you guys? So maybe you can tell me why.
Yes, the why. I come from cultures where there is the macho feeling. I'm a man, so you're gay. My dad, for example, he was very, very homophobic before I came out. And then after that, he started to educate himself after I came out. And he had that turnaround, really big turnaround. So for me, that was, first of all, I'm proud of him for doing that.
Wow, great.
But that's the thing. It's about asking questions, which he did. So it's really important for me because I come from cultures where, okay, I have to admit that I haven't been victim of violence or discrimination, but I have seen it a lot. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned, I come from Colombia. Last week or in these days, a trans person got murdered in Colombia.
Ooh.
There has been a lot of voice raising about that subject, and it's happening in so many countries. So it's important for me to raise that awareness.
Yeah.
I want to spread the voice. I want to spread that. Okay, yes, I have an orientation, but that's me. It shouldn't affect you at all. That's why it's important for me.
Yeah, I understand. That's
It's a beautiful story.
yeah.
And it's also amazing to hear, the way that your dad, his journey, of course, on being educated, and that also shows and proves that it's not a binary thing, like either you're
Correct.
with or against. It's you can really educate yourself, and
Yeah, exactly.
I love the story.
But not
Okay.
everyone is open to that change.
And it's all right. It's fine that you have your own opinion.
Yeah.
But what's not all right is attacking the person that whose opinion is not the same as yours. And that's something that is important. If we're talking about tolerance and diversity, we cannot also be attacking the person that thinks different and goes both ways.
So true.
So if you still think that homosexual is a sin, that's okay. That's your belief. You don't have to change your belief, as long as you don't come attacking me or the community.
Agree.
Mhm.
And I think, as you said, awareness will help with that.
Correct.
'Cause, if you don't know anything about it, then you stigmatize it, and then you might have like extreme reactions. But if you know a bit more about people and you learn that they're just people, but maybe some different things, and it's just people.
In the end, I truly believe it's about understanding each other better.
Yeah.
And it's also one of the reasons why why I'm doing this is like I started out as just like I want to have like a nice community where people can find each other and like be together and share and like make connections. I think it's really important to feel at home at work. So having that connection, making that connection, I think is very important. But in the few years I've been doing this, I also see like there's a lot of like that generating that understanding, like because there's a lot of stuff happening as well. Things are changing rapidly. There's many new terms that are now being like used, non-binary, gender fluid. Like, and I can understand many people are confused because it is a lot.
Yeah,
it's evolving constantly. But it is something that I think also helps people. There's many people who feel different or are different. And these words help them understand themselves better. Yeah. Many people see it as labels and they say like, oh, we shouldn't label things, you're just emphasizing differences, but that's not the point. It's the point about, making sure that people are able to talk about the differences and can explain the differences and have that conversation. And those labels help.
Yeah.
If you say someone is pansexual, if they feel that way and they may never have been able to talk about it before because they just don't know what it is, having the label helps self-identify them and can have the conversation because now it has a word. And I think like having that knowledge and spreading that awareness and like creating that understanding also means that we can understand each other better as humans and understand where we're coming from and understand that things are not necessarily as far away as you think. It's just slightly different, and we just need to understand each other better to get closer to each other. So yeah, I've really grown to seriously like this is something that needs to happen, especially now with like polarization getting worse and worse.
Yep.
I think these things are really important to have that conversation, to also try to understand each other, and having these conversations and making sure that you explain the words, you make sure that people can be on the same wavelength as you is important.
Yeah, great insight indeed. And it's when I listen to your stories, it's all about communication, right? If you get the conversations started and going, then things will get better. At least that's what I understand.
I think you build a lot of respect from just having these conversations. Like as an anecdote, I really love the masterclass that you both organized with Remco, right?
Yeah.
What is it called? The alphabet again?
Alphabet masterclass.
Yeah, and what you just mentioned of like it can be a lot, and I do agree, but it can be a lot, but it doesn't mean you should be blind for it. Like there's so much to educate on, and for me that session really showed, even because I thought I already knew a lot because a lot of my friends are also queer, and I was diving into that session. I was like, okay, well, I'm really happy to educate myself, and during the session I was just really blown away by again things I was not aware of. And really, just love learning about these things. So I think that was also super nice. And also, again, an argument of it can be a lot, but that doesn't mean you're done learning or you're...
No.
So that's, it's super nice. And I love that you guys organize these kind of things as well.
Like even me, I'm 42 and I'm being in the community. I'm still learning and I'm still adapting to this, as you mentioned, the changing world. Yeah. So it's a constant process.
Yeah, I think you also need to keep up, right? Because as you said, things evolve, new things are coming, new words, labels maybe. So you have to do a catch-up class next year, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to.
We'll probably organize a workshop again at some point. So
nice.
Yeah.
And what does it mean for you, Ernst?
What exactly? What does it mean?
Oh yeah, the question was just asked to Daniel, of course, what the topic defines to him. Maybe same for you.
Yeah, so I think I think it's all about creating connection with each other. So is that like it started with this sort of just one comment in this team meeting, and I have been involved before with, for instance, like internationals, like making sure that people feel at home at work is really important to me. Making sure, for instance, like internationals that they come from a different country. They are new to the country. They are new to the company. How do we make sure that they are welcome? This is just a different dimension of that. It's just a different axis. I think that is for me one of the most important parts. And of course, I am gay myself. It is something that has shaped me as part of my identity. Fortunately, I have had the privilege to not necessarily have a lot of problems with it, but I'm just one person, and I know many stories, and just like Daniel said, like there's many stories of people who do have problems with it and have faced discrimination or violence. And even though Bol is a very, very nice company where these things don't really happen, I think it's still good to highlight it, because otherwise we just sit back and lean back and say, okay, we're doing well, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And it's just not the reality of the situation. There's still lots of education to be done, and try to bring this top of mind to just show that this is not finished. We're not done. We always need to kind of keep working on this and keep an open mind on these kind of topics.
It's a reminder that that it's not over. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's constant.
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe for the people who just listen to this podcast, how can they reach out to you if they're interested in hearing more?
Well, we have our Viva Engage page for the people working at Bol.
Yeah.
So they can always check that out. It's just Queer Bol, so that's easy. We also have a Teams group, because also we know that not everyone is comfortable being outed or out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the Viva Engage page is a public space where people can see who is following the page. So we also have a closed Teams group where people can join. It's called the Queer Bol Lounge, so people can join that as well. We also have an email address, queerbol@bol.com, so they can also reach out to that one.
Yeah.
So we have quite a few different channels. We have a Slack channel. I
Slack
think.
channel.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Wow.
of channel.
So we have a lot of channels, and that we can that people can use to reach out to us.
But also they can reach us directly to our own messages,
Yeah.
an email directly, because as you mentioned, not everyone wants to be on the spot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if it's something that somebody wants to keep private directly, it's fine. We're here to be confident to help. So you're welcome to
Awesome.
to reach us directly as well.
That's amazing. And if people are like inspired or sparked after this episode, like, do we have any like I don't want to call it documents, but like any I don't know, websites or things that people can read upon if they want to educate themselves more?
There are plenty.
Yeah.
If
Love
people
that.
want to know more, feel free to reach out to us, because we can send them quite a lot of stuff. Also, maybe
the books.
The books, yeah, I was about to say, yeah, the books. So last year we actually donated. We have this library at Bol in one of our towers, one of the floors. There's a small library.
Yep.
We actually donated, I think, 18 books
Mm.
on the topic of queer, gender, sexuality, all kinds of stuff. So six different books, 3 copies each, both in English and Dutch. So if people want to know more, they can just stop by the library, see if there's a book that they like, and use that.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff online about this. So there's plenty of interesting websites that also, for instance, talk about pronouns and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things out there.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, we will definitely also add some things in the show notes. I think that
Mhm.
would be super nice. And I'm also curious, what's next on the calendar? What's left for 2025, or is that still secret? Can we spoil something?
So the one thing that I think we are very excited about.
Yes.
So we cannot,
I know where you're going.
I think, say too much about it yet. But of course, there is every year there is Amsterdam Pride. There's Utrecht Pride. So actually, the Pride event in the city. This year we're going to have some kind of collaboration with Utrecht Pride.
Oh, cool.
And we'll probably hopefully be the beginning of a long-term collaboration with them. So that's very exciting for us, because that's something that also we've always had in the back of our minds. Like this, like we're doing a lot of things internally, which is awesome. But of course, also would be great to give back to the community.
Yes.
And I think this is one of the first steps to be able to do that, to help Utrecht Pride in that sense, and contribute to that. So there's something coming.
Cool.
I'm
Exciting.
sure more will be revealed later. Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
So are we.
And of course, expect more events, more internal events, and more networking events. So
Mhm.
just keep an eye on the communication channels.
Will do.
Really nice. Yeah, big thank you to both of you.
Yeah.
Also, of course, again, the third person that wanted to join the podcast
Mhm.
as well. Big thank you to you as well, and to the full community. I think what you guys do, again, I really want to emphasize it. it's really amazing, the initiative that you guys are doing. Putting how did you mention it again? The gay job.
In the gay job.
I think it's amazing that you guys are putting the emphasis, the time, your energy, and really spreading the awareness. So big thanks.
Thank you for having us here and for your support and allyship. I think that's also what keeps us going as well.
Anytime.
Cool. Yeah, come back again at some point if you have.
We'll make sure to do that. Yeah.
Super cool.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.